Good afternoon. I'm your host, Steve Bassnett, and along with my co-host, Aaron Marsden, I would like to welcome everybody on behalf of Canaston Security Canada to our first online learning session. While many are stuck at home, we thought this would be a good time to deliver some product and service knowledge that will be beneficial when we're all back to work. I'd like to say a special thank you to Access Communications for their support and for volunteering to be first up. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing Michael Almeida, Regional Sales Manager for 2N Canada. Throughout his 15 years in the security industry, Michael has had the opportunity to work with various vertical and market segments. Michael has a dynamic sales ability and has collaborated with many professionals in the security industry, from consultants and distributors to integrators and end users. His diverse experience has allowed him to forge ongoing relationships and provide market solutions. Michael is well known to many in the AV, security, and data communications industry, and started with Access Communications in January 2020. His focus areas include true IP-based intercoms, access control, speaking to open standards, and third-party integration. Feel free to type any questions you may have for Michael during the session into the chat window, and he will respond during the Q&A portion roughly 20 minutes from now. I'll now turn the session over to Michael. Welcome, Michael, and thanks for being here.
Thank you very much, Steve. Thank you, Security Canada, for giving us the opportunity today to present to you. Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. I truly appreciate everybody joining us here today in these hard times. The objective of this presentation today is to take you guys through the world of 2N. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my presentation with you guys. And as an added note, I'm just going to stop my video because I want to limit any sort of bandwidth limitations that we may have. So again, as Steve mentioned, Q&A we'll be doing at the end of this presentation. Thank you. So using 2N in today's world, how an IP intercom integrates with your video and access control systems, and how are we going to be able to assist you with those unique challenges? Couple of topics I'm going to be running through with you guys today is who is 2N? Of course, we're an access company, and that's probably all you know, but I'm going to expand on that for you guys a little bit. We're going to run through some simple IP-based intercoms and access control, some low-touch solutions using Bluetooth and QR, and of course, some solutions, applications, and of course, going through some of my products to give you a better understanding of where we fit and who we are. As an overview, letting you guys know where we came from, 2N is not a new company. We're not a pop-up or a spin-off. We are a 30-year-old company that was headquartered out of Prague, Czech Republic. Of course, very close to our headquarters for Access, which is located in Lund, Sweden. We are solely focused on IP solutions, primarily intercoms and access control in the North American market space. Something that's a big differentiator for us is our production, our R&D, and our engineering is all done out of Czech Republic. Just as a keynote for you guys, some other manufacturers do come up with some interesting designs on products. However, they put it on paper and then they outsource the manufacturing. That's not the case when we talk about 2N. We are a market leader in IP intercoms, ranked by IHS. And of course, lastly, when did all these big changes start happening to our beautiful North American continent? Access acquired 2N in 2016, and we merged the companies in 2018. So a little bit of a blast from the past. I'm going to walk us down memory lane for any of those who've been in the industry for a while. Most people think of an intercom and they think about 2 cups and a string, or possibly just a little bit of a toy or a convenience to have. Well, back in the days, residentially, this was a convenience, but it didn't work very well. A lot of expensive cabling, a lot of static, and a poor radio that played pad AM, FM that didn't work very well. So bringing us up to speed on what is happening today in today's space. Different types of applications I'm going to share with you guys. So being able to integrate intercom, video, access control, all in one neat solution. Multiple applications for deployment and installation. Just showing you guys some installations across the board in different verticals that we have in access to. So office buildings, high-end residential, positioned inside elevators for control and communication, And I think where most of us would rather be right now, sitting at a pool house. But of course, primarily some office spaces with multi-tenants, granting some access and communication in that manner, and keeping us all safe throughout emergency boxes and call stations. Another application would be to grant access into substations or where a lot of people manufacture or work. All these kind of examples are just leading you into where we are today. Intercoms of today are a well thought out solution for any school, facility, office building, campus, or retail application. I won't keep you guys on this one too long, but I just wanted to give you guys a bit of an overview of where we sit in the intercom market. A lot of people wonder how big is that intercom space. As you can see here from some of the numbers, globally, we're sitting at $2.8 billion. North America, a little over 500 million. If you can look at that pie chart broken out by market segment, this of course shows us the different breakouts based on territory. The region market breakouts have changed quite a bit. We have seen a bit of an increase inside. Sorry, bear with me one quick sec. I did not realize I was blocking your view. I hope that's corrected it now. Thank you. The market breakout that we have here is by segment. So this is allowing us to see where we can really play in that market space. We're running into some technical difficulties, but please hang tight. Hopefully we've been corrected. Want to give you guys a bit of a view of the difference in the market space. So we do have a bit of a, I apologize. So we do have a bit of a, sorry, bear with me, having technical difficulties with Zoom. So we do have a bit of an opportunity here in the IP space versus analog. Analog has primarily been what we've been dealing with in the market space for intercoms and access control, but that is soon changing. So the opportunities in the market space and why are we switching from analog to IP? We got to have some good reasons, right? So analog, of course, some of the key pinch points with that is low quality video, low interoperability, relatively low security. There's no real neat way to secure the communication between a door station and a telephone. And of course, a lot of expensive cabling, multi-pin, various runs, back and forths to masters. This, of course, creates an extended cost. And relatively low programmability. You can't really do much functions with that sort of stuff. Of course, we can talk about how great IP is. We have great video and audio quality as we're experiencing right now during this presentation. High interoperability, open standards such as SIP, ONVIS, Wiegand communication. These all allow us to communicate with a lot of third-party devices and on some industry standards. High security, using that for audio communication, video communication encrypted, preventing any unwanted intruders or listeners. Ease of installation over PoE. We're talking 1 Cat5, Cat6 to back of an intercom. Online reporting for health and monitoring. This, of course, is a huge asset when you're looking to maintain and manage multiple sites. The lower overall cost of install. We're talking less devices, less cabling, making for easier long-term savings. 2N does have a solution for every type of application. So I'm going to walk you through a few of the markets just to give you guys some ideas on where we kind of fit and how intercoms are really integrated into some of these applications a little further. I won't walk through every single one of these industries, but I will walk through some of the major ones for us. So of course, when we look at a commercial building, immediately we think of an intercom at the front of the building and that's it. However, today's intercom, 2N intercom, is going to be sitting at a building entrance, which can house a digital phone book and access control all in one unit. This allowing multiple tenants or multiple people to receive calls. You can also incorporate elevator control using an Access 9188 relay board. This allows us to only allow visitors and tenants to go to the required floors. Individual office and sensitive areas. You can use an intercom for room-to-room or department-to-department communication. This is another way to create more points of communication. Emergency help points, parking garage, information, and gate control. These are all other points in any sort of commercial building that you may require an audio or video endpoint. Using today's modern IP-based intercom from 2N, this allows you to integrate all these devices together, tied in to your VMS or any sort of security system. You can also tie the access control into a previous system or have it run standalone on its own. And of course, integrating in with telephony systems, such as Cisco and Avaya. And I'll talk a little more about how we partner and integrate with other devices. Education. Of course, this is a huge market. We got to take the education and we look at how can we make it more secure for our students, more secure for our instructors, and again, more secure overall and being able to manage those schools via a central school board, not individually. Healthcare. Of course, due to our current crisis and what we're dealing with today, there's a big influx on looking at how to manage healthcare moving forward. Less patient touches, more containment, being able to isolate, communicate from patient to nurse or nurse to doctor. These are some really cool ways you can do this using an IP-based intercom, either using a room-to-room communicator or again, using a video station to have that interaction with the patient or the doctor. As we all know, retail today is going to be totally different than retail tomorrow. Having granted limited access, time and attendance recordings, being able to remotely access or grant access to customers or employees without actually having to be there. And of course, having that all report back into your centralized VMS or recording system. Multi-dwelling units, I think we've all heard of Airbnb. Again, you look at this and you got to look at different types of applications, visitor credentials, which of course we're going to talk about using Bluetooth, RFID, QR code. But these all require certain types of communications in different layers. And how do you neatly install or integrate this together? Using an IP-based solution that uses SIP protocol from 2N makes it definitely a lot easier to do. Now I'm going to introduce you guys to my family. These guys have been my friends for the last few weeks as they sit with me in my office daily. And I'm going to introduce you to them, and I'm going to go through some of the key characteristic features, which again is shared across the board on all the products. So it doesn't matter what series as I get into the product line. These are features that are all shared. And I'm sure this is going to answer a few of the questions you guys have thought of throughout this presentation so far. One key thing to remember, they're all SIP network edge devices, making communication very easy. Setting up on a network is really right out of the box, plug and play. DHCP, static network addressing, makes it very, very easy to deploy the product. We also have a network scanner from 2N, which will sniff out any 2N devices on your network and allow you to program and set them up from there. Simple PoE. As I mentioned, all the products are PoE driven. So again, you run one Cat5, Cat6 in the back of these guys, and you're ready to go. However, we also do have a 12-volt DC input. We do realize some requirements for access may need more power, such as mag locks, crash bars, or possibly automatic door or gate control. "10,000 virtual buttons or user positions." Again, when we're looking at this, this is a feature that allows us to neatly utilize the features and create different types of functions based on what we have built into the unit. Multiple onboard relays, inputs and outputs. This is a cool feature we have built into our products, is RTSP streaming for multi-cameras. You can stream up to 5 cameras that are associated to any intercom. So from that event being pushed, viewing on an answering station, you can view 5 cameras before granting access or allowing a visitor to come in. A true one-box solution. When you buy any one of the IP-based intercoms from Axis and 2N, you can really just grab one of these and away you go. You don't need to grab a master station or another type of device to make my product work on a network. Very very easily. You can plug and play and away you go. Call delivery. This is something that always comes up, and how can we handle this and manage this better? Being able to cascade calls or simultaneously reach out calls. And to give you an example of that in the scenario is you have an intercom at a front receptionist desk. That intercom will then dial the receptionist. Well, if the receptionist does not answer, you can have that call then redirect to multiple recipients or then cascade throughout the recipients and cycle back until that phone call is answered, giving you a lot of flexibility in the installation and delivery of calls. Our products make it very easy to go from a one-to-one solution, or you can go many-to-one or one-to-many. Any combination or any configuration you're looking for in an intercom system, we can work with. And again, PBX agnostic. So solutions for any type of installation. If you're looking for redundancy or different ways to communicate, you can do this through the intercoms themselves. We also do offer a browser-based configuration, which makes it very easy to function, and a remote commander app, which again allows you to remotely configure these products off-site. By registering the serial number, you can communicate to these products, make configuration changes, firmware updates, without having to physically connect to the device. Walking you through some of these products and how they kind of fit into different solutions. The Verso is one of our most popular products, and the name Verso lends itself there because it's very versatile. Of course, you can see on the screen, I have a few different options. We do have an LTE version, and again, we have what we call a 2-module and 3-module chassis in a few different colors and installation patterns to fit your configuration or needs. The Solo is a little smaller form factor, which again gives a compact solution to sit at multiple doors, entry, and again, still gives you IP communication and calling and door release capabilities. I'll introduce these two guys together because I always like to refer to them as brother and sister, the Force and Safety. These guys are pretty unique in the sense that they carry an IP69K weather rating. So whatever weather we're throwing at them, from the West Coast to the East Coast, these things can handle. And of course, they've got an IK10 rating, which is one of the strongest vandal resistance out there. You can literally drive over this thing with a tank and it'll come out on the other end with just a couple of scratches and nicks. And if you don't believe me, you can check out the video on YouTube. And the base and uni give us an economical solution for those less concerns on vandalism or weather rating, more typically used in a residential or economical type installation as well. I'm going to introduce you guys to our answering units fairly quickly. So we have a few options when it comes to answering, and we're not limited to this. These are just the solutions that we have in our product portfolio. So using an IP talk for video or audio communication, using the IP compact for video communication. The indoor touch gives you an Android-based tablet, which can be desktop mounted or wall mounted. And again, using our 2N mobile video service for allowing for cloud communication to mobile devices, being able to see who's at your entrance, communicate to them through audio, and of course, release the door where needed. Of course, when I said we're not limited to the ways we call out, you can always tie into a Cisco phone, a VIA phone, or again, install a soft phone client on your computer or PC to receive calls as a pop-up window on that as well. A real quick run through on access control for you folks. A few different ways to do it. And again, when we look at access control, we look at it completely different than your traditional access control systems. All the readers that we have are, again, edge-based readers. So again, you just run one Cat5 to the back of these guys. They have a relay board already built into them, 3 inputs, 2 outputs. But essentially, we're working in a virtual world where we're just getting an IP address, and that's it. There's no need for any expensive cabling or additional centralized control panel or door expanders, and having to communicate within panels and centralize this. So if you're running a system that is requiring as small as 1 reader, very easy to deploy, or you can go up to 20 or 30 readers, depending on what you're looking for, or a full enterprise type solution. And again, our software can be integrated into any VMS or control system as well. Integration with all enterprise and access control systems is fairly easy. 2N Bluetooth and access control is a very unique solution as well. We do this in a few different ways. You can tap in the app, or you can do it directly through the phone itself. This, of course, giving a low touch solution. Somebody would present their device close to the reader, up to 15 feet away. They could then open the app and grant access that way. Again, preventing touches and giving you the availability of doing temporary visitor credentials where needed. And again, pairs very easily to devices using a simple PIN code. Just as one more quick overview, in the family there, we do have a lot of different selections here. So when you're looking at these guys, we do have two families. We have our Access Intercoms families, and then we have the 2N Intercom family. And again, they both have different fits and needs when we're looking at the applications or markets and verticals that they fit into. So again, Access Intercoms, we do have a complete portfolio to give you a solution for whatever your application is that you need out there. One of my last slides, just to kind of highlight and review with you guys, is again the 2N value proposition. One of our key factors out there, and I emphasize this, is our open integration. Being able to integrate with Cisco, Avaya, Milestone, Genetec, Access, any one of the partners out there, Crestron, Control4, Savant, we play in those sandboxes very, very nicely. We have an open architecture. We have many, many partners out there in space. If not, we are probably the most partnered manufacturer, which makes it very easy to integrate. Our edge intelligence, of course, no proprietary head end. You're looking at less devices, less deployment, a lot easier to scale up a project where needed. And of course, they can always be standalone or integrated into any type of solution. In programmability, you have unlimited programming through our automation function, giving you very cool features such as motion detection to initiate a phone call, or using a wave, or again, voice detection to make that call. So again, looking at that less touch type solution out there. And again, we're highly competitive, less maintenance, our installation is a lot easier, and our hardware carries longer warranties than some of the other manufacturers. With that, I'm going to hand this back over to Steve for some questions.
Thank you, Michael. That was great. If anybody has any questions, please type them into the Q&A window. We do have a few already, so thank you. First off, Michael, how do you handle call deliveries to multiple recipients?
So through the user contact or through the interface, which again is done throughout the whole Intercom family, it's very easy to do. You define your users, you give them their IP addresses, or you redirect to the mobile service, which is cloud-based. And from there, you can set the priority on who gets the call first and then cascade downwards if needed. Or if a recipient A is supposed to get the call first and B and C are supposed to receive if A doesn't answer, you can just set that up through the functions, which is very easy to do. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you. Okay, next up, which access system platform are you able to integrate it with?
So we currently integrate with Access Camera Station with video integration only at this time. We are currently working on updating that, and that'll be shortly released for full integration with audio and video communication.
Okay, thank you. Next up, does the customer need to set up SIP with a provider, or does 2N provide this?
So you can use a cloud-hosted SIP provider, or you can manage that locally if you need to. So you do have two SIP servers built into the devices. So if it is a cloud service or a local service, or if you're using a SIP server such as a Grandstream for something local, you do have the flexibility of going either way on this.
Okay, well, I was just found out there. I called it SIP, and apparently it's SIP. So
you can say SIP, Steve. No.
Okay, thank you.
I knew what you were talking about.
Next up, how well does this interface with hosted telephone systems, servers centralized with phones connected to network switches?
It works very well. So when you, unfortunately, just because we're on limited time, when you do go to the 2N website, there's an integration hub. So there's various partners that are listed there. Ring Central, Cisco. There's a few different types of phone hosted services that you can integrate in with us as well.
Okay. Next up, the video intercom needs 1 IP or 2.
That's where the magic comes in. So even if you're using video intercom access control, we're all doing it all over 1 IP.
Okay. And can you please elaborate more on how it can call elevator cabs?
So there is a built-in feature for lift control. There's a license that's involved with operating that. However, you would create a virtual ID in the user space, which then would communicate to the access relay board or the elevator module that's in place, which would then allow, when you release that door from that tenant, to allow that visitor to have that call up to the elevator.
Okay, and also, does 2N integrate with key scan readers?
There is a way to do that with the Wigan module. So yes, we can. Our Wigan modules are intelligent where they will receive data and send data. So I know with Keyscan, you need to put in a group code and then you got to put it in, but you put it in as a virtual ID, which allows you to communicate to their readers.
Great. Can calls and access be granted via mobile device?
Can you repeat that one for me, Steve?
Yep, sorry. Can calls and access be granted via mobile device?
Yes. So absolutely, through the My2N cloud service, that is where you're going to receive a call. And again, built into the units, you have 2 SIP servers. So if you are using the My2N cloud service for mobile calling, it would give you the option of calling either the phone, the room suite caller answering station, or the mobile device. From there in the app is where you're going to be able to see them on the video. And from there, you can release the door.
Okay, thank you. How far away does the Bluetooth work from?
So Bluetooth, very cool functionality. You can set it that you have to actually tap the reader to initiate a sequence of unlocking the door, or you can set the range to short, medium, or long. Short range is between 3 to 12 inches, and then medium goes from 12 to 3 feet, and then long goes from 3 feet to 15 feet. So great for long distance releases if needed.
Okay, and our last question is training available?
Absolutely. We have training that we do monthly. We host webinars monthly for training, as well as we do also offer individual trainings where needed.
Great. Okay, that brings us to the end of today's session. Thank you for joining us. And once again, thank you to Michael Almeida and Access Communications. At the close of this session, a link to register for next week's session will be available. We look forward to seeing you next week. Until then, be well.